It has been nearly 2 years since a set of major changes went into effect for no-fault insurance here in Michigan. Changes that affect, everyone with insurance. What no-fault options are available? Have you been making the right decisions for you and your family? Here to break that all down, Tom Sinas from Sinas Jamis Law Firm. Hey, Tom.
Hi, Todd. How are you?
I'm well. What is it about the no-fault coverage in Michigan that makes this decision so important?
It's such a good question because when we talk about auto insurance and coverage, these tend to be very dry and technical conversations, and it's easy to kind of tune out. But what is unique about Michigan's auto no-fault insurance coverage is the fact that the most substantial benefit is one that covers your medical care. And so I think it makes more sense to think about this auto insurance coverage the way you would think about health insurance coverage, because that is effectively how it operates. It is there to provide financial support for medical bills, for therapy, for transportation, even perhaps home accommodation. And in that sense, it's much broader than traditional health insurance. But what it is a protection for the injured person to make sure that their medical and related needs are met. That's what differentiates Michigan from other states. That's why this issue of choosing a certain level of no-fault coverage is so important.
Now, you mentioned a certain level of coverage. Obviously, there are options out there. What options are available to us?
Well, before 2020, everyone who had access to no-fault coverage had unlimited coverage. By unlimited, I don't mean they got everything that they want, but I meant there was no arbitrary dollar cap that was put on the amount of coverage they had. This is, by the way, similar to health insurance. You don't want a health insurance policy that has an arbitrary limited amount of dollars available. Well, in 2020, people could start purchasing policies that had less than unlimited coverage. Thankfully, you can still purchase unlimited coverage, but everyone were given some options that was less than unlimited. So people could choose the next level down from unlimited was $500,000. Again, $500,000 to cover your medical expenses after a car crash. If your medical expenses were small, maybe that's enough. If they were catastrophic, that's not enough. The next level down from that was $250,000. Same concepts apply. And then we had coverage options that were available to people with certain types of health insurance. So, and this is still true, if you have health insurance that covers auto accidents and doesn't have a deductible of more than $6,000, you can opt out of auto no-fault coverage entirely and rely entirely on that health insurance coverage. Similarly, if you're covered under Medicare, you can opt out of no-fault coverage. If you're covered under the Medicaid system, you can choose a no-fault coverage of only $50,000. So all of these choices that are less than unlimited are situations where people are taking the chance that their medical and health expenses after a car crash are going to hopefully be less than what they chose. Or if they're choosing to opt out, then they are taking the chance that the system they're going to rely on, health insurance or Medicare, whatever it may be, is going to be sufficient for them to cover all of their needs, even though those healthcare systems always provide a more narrow scope of benefits than auto no-fault coverage.
There are a lot of options out there. You mentioned unlimited coverage. It sounds to me like the risk here is that I don't want to say gamble, but it's that do you risk having a less than catastrophic injury? I mean, what are the biggest risks of choosing less than unlimited coverage?
Well, you just identified it. That is the risk. And I think a gamble is a fair word, because how can you choose a level of coverage about something that you have no idea whether it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, how seriously hurt you're going to be, and what type of medical care you're going to need? Or maybe ask the question a different way. Would you purchase a $250,000 health insurance policy? I've never heard of anyone doing that. So the risk is that you will purchase not enough coverage in the event of a serious injury. But there's another risk that people should be aware of. If people are choosing either limited coverage or opting out, they are going to be relying, in some sense, either when they exceed the amount or from the very beginning, they're going to be relying on that health insurance coverage. And what I think few people know is that health insurers, whether they're traditional health insurers or government programs like Medicare and Medicaid, these entities can ask that when you have a settlement against the person who injured you, those entities can be asked to be paid back for the medical expenses that they paid on your behalf. We call this a claim for subrogation or reimbursement, or sometimes it's called a lien. And these can be enormous types of claims. Now, whether the claims are valid depends on a whole lot of circumstances. But imagine someone's involved in a serious auto accident. They opted out or they chose less than unlimited. They've been relying on, say, Medicare or Medicaid. They receive a settlement from the drunk driver, and all of a sudden, one of those programs says, we want to be paid back as well. That is a risk that doesn't exist if you choose unlimited no-fault coverage, because no-fault insurers don't have those types of claims, absent some very limited circumstances. So it's the two risks. You will run out of no-fault coverage, and you may end up being in a situation where a health insurer or a Medicare or Medicaid is asking to be paid back out of your settlement.
Well, as you mentioned, there are many different circumstances that these rules are applied to. And for those who have questions about that, where can they go?
Well, they can find us online at www.sinusdramus.com. We have, under the literature section of our website, we have some good informational materials that hopefully help people make decisions about this important topic. They can give us a call in West Michigan at 616-301-3333, or shoot us an email at info@sinusdramus.com.